Did you know that your brain can trick you in ways you never imagined? For example, 88% of people think they're better drivers than average, which is statistically impossible. And did you know you might be able to remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones? It's true, and it's called the Zeigarnik Effect. In this video, we're diving into 12 mind-blowing psychological phenomena that shape your everyday life. From the Pygmalion Effect, where your beliefs can sculpt your reality, to the Ikea Effect, which makes you love things you create yourself. These aren't just random facts. They're secrets you can use to boost your life, work, and relationships. Stick around to learn how these phenomena work and, more importantly, how you can use them to your advantage. Get ready to discover the hidden forces driving your thoughts and actions. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Pygmalion Effect. Sculpt your own reality. The Pygmalion Effect is all about the power of expectations. When teachers believe their students will excel, they often do. This is because the teacher's high expectations lead to increased encouragement and support. In one famous study, students randomly labeled as gifted showed significant improvement simply due to their teacher's beliefs. This effect isn't limited to the classroom. It works in the workplace too. When managers expect excellence, employees are more likely to perform better. This phenomenon can even apply to self-expectations. If you believe you can succeed, you're more likely to put in the effort needed to do so. So, how can you harness the Pygmalion Effect in your life? Start by setting high but realistic goals for yourself. Believe in your ability to achieve these goals. Surround yourself with people who support and believe in you. Avoid negative self-talk and focus on your strengths. Regularly visualize your success and the steps needed to get there. Use positive affirmations to reinforce your self-belief. Remember, your mindset can significantly impact your reality. As Henry Ford said, whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. Chapter 2. The Baader-Meinhof Phenomenon. The Frequency Illusion. Have you ever learned a new word and suddenly started seeing it everywhere? This is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, also known as the frequency illusion. It happens when something you've just noticed starts appearing frequently. This phenomenon is due to selective attention, where your brain focuses on what's recently relevant to you. The first encounter creates a trigger, making your brain alert to similar occurrences. To use this to your advantage, focus on the new skills or knowledge you want to acquire. Your brain will start noticing related information and opportunities more frequently. For example, if you're learning about investment strategies, you'll start seeing relevant articles, books, and discussions everywhere. This can accelerate your learning process. Keep a journal to note these frequent encounters and reflect on how they connect to your goals. This will help reinforce the new knowledge. As William James said, "My experience is what I agree to attend to." Chapter 3. The Dunning-Krueger Effect. The Confidence Paradox. The Dunning-Krueger effect is a cognitive bias where people with low ability overestimate their competence. Essentially, a little knowledge can make you overconfident. Conversely, experts may doubt their competence due to their awareness of how much they don't know. This paradox can be seen in many areas, from academics to professional fields. For instance, a study found that 88% of drivers rated themselves as above-average drivers, which is statistically impossible. This overconfidence can lead to poor decision-making. To counteract the Dunning-Krueger effect, always seek feedback and be open to criticism. Surround yourself with knowledgeable people who can offer honest insights. Regularly assess your skills and knowledge critically. Continuously strive to learn and improve, recognizing the vastness of what you don't know. As philosopher Bertrand Russell said, "The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people so full of doubts." Embrace a mindset of lifelong learning and humility. Chapter 4. The Bystander Effect. Break the silence. The bystander effect occurs when people are less likely to help someone in distress if others are present. This is because of a diffusion of responsibility. Everyone assumes someone else will step in. The infamous case of Kitty Genovese in 1964, where numerous witnesses failed to help, highlights this phenomenon. Studies have shown that the presence of just one other person can reduce the likelihood of intervention by up to 40%. To combat the bystander effect, take decisive action when you see someone in need. Assume responsibility rather than waiting for others to act. If you're in a crowd, single out an individual to help, saying something like, "You, call 911. This reduces diffusion of responsibility. Increase your own awareness of this phenomenon to better recognize and overcome it. Encourage others to be proactive and model this behavior yourself. As Desmond Tutu said, Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. By stepping up, you can inspire others to do the same. Chapter 5. The Pratfall Effect. Flaws make you lovable. The Pratfall Effect reveals an interesting twist. Making mistakes can actually make you more likable. This phenomenon suggests that showing vulnerability can humanize you and make others feel more connected to you. A classic study by psychologist Elliot Aronson found that a competent person who made a minor blunder was perceived as more likable than one who didn't. This effect can be particularly powerful in leadership and personal relationships. To harness the Pratfall Effect, don't be afraid to show your flaws. Embrace your mistakes and share them with others in a humble way. This can make you appear more approachable and trustworthy. In professional settings, admit when you don't know something instead of pretending. This honesty can build stronger team dynamics and foster a culture of continuous improvement. Remember, people relate to authenticity. As Leonard Cohen famously said, "There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Chapter 6. The Sunk Cost Fallacy. Cut your losses. The sunk cost fallacy is a common cognitive trap where people continue investing in a failing endeavor due to the resources already spent. This fallacy can be costly in both personal and professional life. For example, many investors hold on to losing stocks because they've already invested a lot of money, even when it's clear they should sell. Research shows that this fallacy can lead to significant financial losses and poor decision-making. To avoid the sunk cost fallacy, focus on the future benefits rather than past investments. Ask yourself if you would still make the same decision today based on current information. Regularly reassess your goals and strategies without considering past costs. Use data and objective criteria to guide your decisions. As Warren Buffett advises, the most important thing to do if you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. Being willing to cut your losses can lead to better long-term outcomes. Chapter 7. The Spotlight Effect. Nobody's watching. The spotlight effect is the tendency to overestimate how much others notice your appearance or behavior. Studies show that people often think others are paying more attention to them than they actually are. In one study, participants who wore an embarrassing t-shirt overestimated how many people noticed by 50%. This can lead to unnecessary anxiety and self-consciousness. To overcome the spotlight effect, remind yourself that people are usually focused on their own concerns. Practice mindfulness to stay present and reduce anxiety about others' perceptions. Engage in activities that shift your focus away from yourself, such as volunteering or team sports. Use positive self-talk to counter negative thoughts about being judged. Remember, everyone makes mistakes and most go unnoticed. As Mark Twain said, "You wouldn't worry so much about what others think of you if you realized how seldom they do." Chapter 8. The Endowment Effect. Value what you own. The endowment effect is the phenomenon where people assign more value to things simply because they own them. This can affect everything from selling personal items to making financial decisions. Research shows that people often demand much more to sell an item than they would be willing to pay to buy it. This bias can lead to suboptimal decisions and missed opportunities. To manage the endowment effect, try to view your possessions objectively. Consider selling items you no longer need or use, and set realistic prices based on market value. In financial decisions, evaluate options based on their actual benefits rather than emotional attachment. Use strategies like setting a cooling-off period before making big decisions to avoid impulsive choices driven by ownership bias. As Benjamin Graham noted, the investor's chief problem, and even his worst enemy, is likely to be himself. Being aware of this bias can help you make more rational decisions. Chapter 9. The Forer Effect. You are not that unique. The Forer Effect, also known as the Barnum Effect, explains why people believe vague, general statements are personally meaningful. This is often seen in horoscopes and personality tests. In a famous experiment, psychologist Bertram Forer gave students a personality test and provided each with the same generic feedback. Most rated the feedback as highly accurate. This effect shows our tendency to see personal meaning in broad statements. To avoid the Forer effect, critically evaluate the source of information. Question the specificity of statements and whether they could apply to many people. Be cautious of confirmation bias, where you only notice information that supports your beliefs. Seek out detailed, evidence-based feedback rather than general statements. As Carl Sagan noted, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. By being skeptical and analytical, you can avoid being misled. Chapter 10. The Zeigarnik Effect. Unfinished business. The Zeigarnik Effect states that people remember unfinished tasks better than completed ones. This phenomenon was discovered by psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik when she noticed waiters could remember unpaid orders better than paid ones. This effect can be a powerful tool for productivity. Keeping tasks incomplete in your mind creates a mental reminder to finish them. To leverage the Zeigarnik effect, break large projects into smaller tasks. Leave tasks intentionally unfinished at strategic points, so your brain keeps them active. Use checklists to track progress and maintain motivation. Setting specific goals with clear deadlines can help keep your mind focused on completion. Regularly review and update your task list to maintain momentum. As David Allen, the productivity expert, says, your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. Using this strategy can help you stay organized and productive. Chapter 11. The Hawthorne Effect, the Power of Attention. The Hawthorne Effect describes how people alter their behavior when they know they are being observed. This phenomenon was named after a series of studies at the Hawthorne Works factory, where workers' productivity improved simply because they were being watched. Awareness of being observed can motivate people to perform better, but it can also create stress if not managed properly. To use the Hawthorne effect positively, create an environment of supportive observation. Provide regular feedback and recognition for efforts. Encourage peer reviews and collaborative work, where team members can observe and learn from each other. Balance supervision with autonomy to avoid creating unnecessary pressure. As Ken Blanchard, the author of The 1-Minute Manager, suggests, feedback is the breakfast of champions. Using observation as a tool for growth can enhance performance and morale. Chapter 12. The Ikea Effect, the Joy of Building. The Ikea effect refers to the increased value people place on products they partially create. This term comes from the success of Ikea furniture, where customers assemble their purchases. Studies show that people value their own work more highly, even if it's imperfect. This effect highlights the satisfaction and pride derived from personal effort. To apply the Ikea effect in your life, engage in DIY projects and tasks where you can see tangible results. Whether it's cooking, gardening, or building, the process can boost your sense of accomplishment. Encourage collaborative projects at work where team members contribute actively. Recognize and celebrate the effort put into tasks, not just the outcomes. As psychologist Dan Ariely notes, labor leads to love. Embracing this principle can enhance your motivation and happiness.